Joining me, a very special guest, Nimrit Kaur, who's all set to combat in the test case. Nimrit, you come from a forces background. An emotional moment for you when you wore that uniform?
Yes, absolutely. It's been very emotional. It's been a very nostalgic feeling, you know, getting into that uniform. It almost doesn't feel like a costume I'm putting on. I used to watch my father get ready for work every morning, and that is something I've grown up with, you know. So there's a very inexplicable sense of pride in putting on that uniform, and you feel a little responsible, even though I know I'm acting, and you know I'm not really an army officer, but there's a sense of responsibility you feel when you buckle up.
Nimrit, when your father was serving in the services, at that time there weren't too many women in the armed forces. Now we do have a lot of women who join the forces, but not so when it comes to combat like the way you do in Israel and the United States. And in the test case, you actually are a combat officer.
Yes, I mean, that's exactly what we are, you know, hoping to bring to the audience with this show, that women are as capable and as multifaceted as they want to be in every genre, every profession, as we've seen across the world, not just in our country. It's not really about being a man and a woman. It's just about having the capability and the right mindset to qualify for a job. So if a woman is employed for a job with a certain skill set, and you know, there is something that she can bring to the table, then whether it's the combat role in the army or, you know, being a doctor elsewhere, you know, why should there be a difference? And I think this is what the show hopes, you know, to bring to the forefront. It's of course a fictional account because we don't have even a single woman in a combat role in the army yet. But I think that this will set a precedent, and I feel like it's a matter of time. We've witnessed recently a young lady from Bikaner was commissioned into the BSF as the first woman in a combat role in BSF. I forget her name at this point, but I really felt so proud, and I even tweeted about it, I remember. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of time before this happens in the army as well.
The armed forces are pretty just when it comes to the women in services, but we are yet to see women officers in artillery and infantry. What is that one thing you would want to see vis-a-vis women in the services?
I think I want to see the choice to be up to the women, and you know, it should not be a discrimination against you know, a gender, or capabilities should not be questioned just because it's a woman in question, you know, when you have to post somebody at the border, or you know, somewhere nefarious or just somewhere questionable in that sense. I think it's only a matter of how bright an officer is and how capable they are. You know, do they have it in them to sustain themselves in you know, in a sensitive area under duress? And women, honestly, scientifically, are proven to be mentally stronger than men. I've been reading recent studies, and that's been very interesting for me, you know, that I'm not saying that women are necessarily as physically strong as male officers. Of course they can't be. There's a biological difference in the way a man is made and a woman is made, and no one's refuting that, and no one's trying to question that. But I feel that there is a balance one can find. You know, not every man has his head in the right place, and you know, under duress can he perform. So I feel that, you know, women have to be looked at as officers and treated that way, and not you know, looked at as women first and then officers. It has to be the other way around.
You trained rather hard to get into the role. We saw you doing all those crazy boot camps, and you even gave up on coffee. So what was it like preparing to play Captain Shikha Sharma?
It was exhausting for me and challenging for me as a human being. Honestly, I've never taken up something as seriously challenging as this. I took this training up along with you know, dietary specifications and a lot of sacrifices, including almost everything I love to eat. You know, I come from a North Indian Sikh family. I love my food, so I had to break up with a lot of food I really loved. So you know, those were the things I can look back on and laugh about right now. But I know that it was an uphill task every single day to sometimes, we have a relationship with our lifestyles, and we kind of, you have a way of feeling good and being able to, that feel good factor is something that we derive out of anything that's maybe a little bit sinful, and none of that was on the table for me. So I had to really be very strict and be happy with very little. But now that I look back, I've never been stronger and more disciplined in my mind, not just in my body. I've never felt more disciplined, about just being responsible to yourself. I think that's what comes with being an army officer as well. You have to be responsible towards yourself before being responsible for a million other people, Yeah.
After movies like Lunchbox, Airlift, and then we had you working on Homeland, now working on a new format like a web series for the first time in India. I mean, somebody else would have thought twice, but you seem to be like pretty gung-ho and experimental.
Well, it's a new, right, it's a new format, Pooja. I mean, it's anybody's guess how this is going to fare, and how it will be accepted, because Homeland is a hugely popular show. It's been loved worldwide, and it's a TV series on an established network. So I walked into an arena where I had an audience already. Here we're looking to build an audience. We're looking to sort of seduce a new kind of a viewer into this medium. And we all know how much in love we are with our phone screens and iPads and whatnot. I'm not one of them, admittedly so. I'm not your typical web watching person. I often use the wrong terms for everything, and I find really, honestly, I'm a disaster that way. But I do know that when you have something good to tell, whether it's a short story, a short film, or an ad film, or anything anywhere, people flock to watch it. I know that it's just a question of you being true to your content and staying, I think staying true to what you want to tell. And the audience is very smart. I mean, all of us, we look at a trailer and we know whether we're going to watch the movie or not. So it's as simple as that. No one's fooling anyone anymore. So I think it's time that the audience has stopped taken for granted. This is a show which is going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's not just about the army and the tough life and this and that. It's just a human drama. It's got a lot of grit and a lot of interesting equations, and we're hoping to create an audience for this.
Your father was martyred in Kashmir, and you have spoken about it. Recently, we had Gurmeher Kaur, who was rather vocal when she spoke up and was trolled. And it seems these days we need to adhere to a brand of nationalism and patriotism to be deemed patriotic and nationalist. What would you say?
Right, patriotism to me is something that lives in my heart, Pooja. I'm not one to, I think I'm not somebody who likes there to be a sense of, the words slip me right now, but basically what I'm trying to say is that I feel, and this is how we've been brought up, and we went through some very difficult times growing up. We lost my father in Kashmir at a very young age, and my mom was a very young woman at that time. But we were brought up with a lot of positivity and a lot of, I think, strength, and not living in the past in that sense, and just living for what's to come. And I'm a very peace-loving person, and I feel that no war anywhere and no kind of violence and no kind of terrorism or acts that are born out of terrorism are justified under just under any bracket anywhere. So patriotism to me is to do the best that you can do as a citizen of any country you belong to. I think living by what you want people to live by is patriotism to me.
What's your take on the Fairness Cream campaign? Like Abhay Deol recently said that we Indians are indeed racist, and especially the film industry, because a lot of your colleagues do endorse Fairness Cream brands and being fair and lovely.
I feel like these are just waves that come up and down. This is just something that I have always you know, subscribed to as something that should just not exist in any part of the world, in any form. Even when I was modeling, you know, for advertising and just, you know, when you're doing your odd jobs, there was a sense of, there was a definite consciousness about the fact that this is a space that one just never wants to endorse or never wants to look at, because it's just something that I don't personally subscribe to. It's just not even a philosophy in my life. Skin color is just really, it's just the last thing that one even you know, like, looks at. So I really hope that, you know, these controversies and these waves that come up and down, I just wonder what happens after that. And there are so many topics. People debate, you know, people write stuff, people refute it, and then there are comebacks, and then there are interviews, and then there are interjections, and then what? The idea is that there needs to be a result, and that's when, you know, there's something to talk about.
I hear you're also doing a series with M. Night Shyamalan, is it?
Well, this is it for now that I can talk about. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming up this year, and I'll be in a position to talk about it. Oh yeah, that's always a very exciting arena. I did another series last year called Wayward Pines, so that was a lot of fun as well. So yeah, that's always a chapter which is constantly open, and, you know, nothing that I can.
So working in Hollywood, working in the Indian film industry, what's the difference like?
You know, I think that, you know, work cultures actually come out of the emotional makeup of us as people a lot. And what happens is that when you work abroad, when you work in America or Europe or wherever, you realize how emotional we are as people and how adjusting we can be, you know, if there is something that has just, you know, come up and you need to look into it or whatever. I think that there is a lot of adjustment that, you know, we all do here. Having said that, there is a great sense of discipline and a great sense of respecting each other's time. That is surely something, you know, we can learn from. Nobody takes anybody's time for granted there. I really love that. I think that's something that we really ought to bring down here in our work environment. Timelines are always, you know, stuck to, and I hate being away from home though. I hate being away for months on end. So far I've shot in very pretty places, so I've been very lucky, but I know my luck is going to be exhausted soon, and I'll be shooting in some dreadful part of the world where I'll just be stranded.
Now, as you said, fairness cream, this whole issue is a wave that comes and goes. There are other two issues that the industry and the ladies keep talking about is nepotism and pay parity.
I think it's completely boring to talk about this anymore. I feel like there's much ado about nothing. But honestly, I mean, forget the fact that we keep using the word nepotism all the time. It's almost fashionable to use this. But I feel that anybody, including you and me, we would have access to the professions our parents belong to easier than, you know, something we want to do outside of it. So it's just a result of that. It's just, honestly, it exists everywhere in every form, whether it's, you know, whether it's with a doctor or a lawyer or a banker, or, you know, you would have access to that world much easier and faster as a kid, you know, when you're born into it. So, and after that, I mean, everybody's on their own. I don't go to a movie because somebody is so-and-so's son or daughter or nephew or niece or whatever. I watch it because I want to watch that person on screen. And I think everybody is very sure of, you know, where they want to spend their money. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Nimrat. More power to you.
Thank you, Pooja. Lots of love. Thanks for talking. Great. Thanks. Bye.